Hello po mga kaagapay, good morning and welcome po sa programang God is Able. Tayo po ay napapakinggan sa FEBC Radio TV at napapanood din po tayo sa Facebook Live. Actually, sa lahat po ng ating mga tagapakinig, whether via social media, sa radio, or if you're just hearing this on the radio, you want to make a phone call, we love to hear your comments. We love to hear your feedback at napaka-interesting ho ng ating pag-uusapan today. So we'd love to really hear your thoughts. Ano po. And I pray that you'll also get the heart of our special guest this evening. Bukod po dyan, binabati din po tayo sa mga nasa YouTube channel ng 702 DZAS FEBC Radio TV at sa lahat ng ating partner television channels at cable channels. Tayo po ay nag-encourage pa rin ng feedback via smart number natin. That's 0999-223-5675. Sa Globe number natin, 0916-296-6620. At pwede pa rin ho tumawag sa landline 8654-3322 Local 401. Ang God is Able ay miyembro ng kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas. And sabi ko nga po, it's gonna be interesting sa atin pong pag-uusapan today because meron po tayo pong isang very special guest. It's our first time to encounter him po. Una ho natin siyang na-encounter nung ating nakaraang family camp last May. We've heard so many wonderful stories from the camp. And this is just one of them. He stepped in there on a volunteer basis as one of his many commitments as a volunteer worker, volunteer doctor, and maybe we'll get to hear more about what he does for various groups and all over the country. And we're certainly praying he goes places talaga. We please pray for this dear friend of ours, a non-new friend of ours, that he will travel and the Lord will provide safety, provision, and good friends along the way for him. And yun nga, he provided very important dental services. Him po and some of our volunteers, biglang naging makeshift volunteers so natin provided important dental services po for our camp participants. And I'm also curious to know what he thought of the participants na na-serve po niya sa mga dental services na yun. So without further ado, let's welcome this new friend of ours with a heart for mission work, for a heart for ministry. Let's welcome Dr. Jan Gallardo. Hello, sir. Welcome to God is Able.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. And where are you at right now, Doc Jan? Is it okay to
Uh,
call you Doc Jan?
yeah, that's fine. Or Jan is also
All
fine.
right.
But I'm currently in Cebu, so I'm based in Cebu. So we just finished a 10-day medical mission here in Cebu. So this is my off day up until this afternoon.
So it's good to know that you have an off day because our impression from you is that you are all over the country serving with different groups and really helping, blessing many people. So, Doc Jan, before we go into that, your heart for mission work, just give us a quick background of what you do and where you're presently professionally connected with.
Okay, so just an overlook. So I finished dentistry in 2016 and I've been practicing since. I'm based in Canada right now and I am pursuing medicine at like abroad or like that's what I plan to do moving forward. So during my off days or my summer months, I'm here doing medical missions in the Philippines. So I'm here from May to August. The last time I was here was in 2023 because in 2024 we were in Ghana for 4 months.
Oh, so you spend time in Cebu based when you're in the Philippines, you're based in Cebu, but you're generally or at least most of the year based in Canada.
Yes, I'm here from May to August, but the entire month of May I was in Manila or in Luzon
Oh.
area. So all the way from Zambales to Cavite, Rizal, we were all over the place in Luzon.
So who invites you to these missions? Do you have like a base or a particular set of groups you're affiliated with where you get these mission assignments?
Well, the biggest group that I'm affiliated with is they're called Hemi. So it's under Dr. Joy Tika and all her Pastor James, and also I'm with Pastor Alex with Revelation Church. So we're doing a lot of these missions through them.
Cool. And so you're basically open to other groups or you're committed to these groups right now?
No, I have a couple groups. I have they're called Worlds Apart. They're based from North Carolina, and then most of their work are in Ormoc. So funny story, like I finished as soon as I flew in from Manila or getting back from Manila to Cebu, I flew in at 12 midnight and I was on a boat at 4 in the morning to head to Ormoc for a medical mission over there with Worlds Apart. So that's one of the groups. The other group is it was 2 weeks ago, Type of Wood. They're from Utah, right? So we did pasta cleaning, extractions, and that was through a whole week. And now there's going to be another group. They are from Denmark. That will be next week.
Wow, this is just an overflowing of opportunities for you. And again, we will certainly be praying that God gives you the provision of safety, with your travel expenses. Although I'm sure your mission team helps you with that one, but also good company and great experiences. How do you filter through all these invitations? I guess your name is out there. People know that you're a volunteer doctor, dentist for medical missions. How do you like sift through the many invitations and say, this group is for me, this place is for me, and of course, the Philippines is still for me.
I don't pick and choose. If a community or a church or a specific area calls or asks for help, then I try to grab volunteers and sponsors to go to that area. And if nobody is able to come, then my brother and I, who's also in dentistry, we go ourselves.
Hey, looking forward to serve with your brother when he's in the Philippines sometime, maybe. Who knows? Maybe next year if he feels like going here. I just like what I heard. You don't get to pick and choose. You just go. And I guess that tells our listeners here, those who are listening, those who are in the medical profession, the health professionals, even those who just wanna serve. This kind of tells you what a volunteer is. They just
That's
they
right.
just go in. They just go in. They don't get to pick and choose. They just go in and give it all out. And we really saw last family camp how Doc Jan gave his all. I mean, he extended his hours to provide a very important clinical dental services to our participants. Doc Jan, you mentioned churches. Do you typically work with a particular group of churches, or what kind of Christian churches have you encountered in the past years?
Oh, all of them. Because I've been doing this since 2014. So I was still a student when I was doing medical missions. So from 2014 all the way up until now, we've been all over Philippines, from Luzon all the way to Basilan or up north. So every church, sometimes, and then our team comprises of different denominations of churches too. So there's a lot of yeah, we've done all.
All the more adds to your being a volunteer. We just work with them. Those who just, I guess you're just looking for the people, the kind of people with the same heart as yours, the same burden as yours. So you said you started doing this volunteer work way back 2014. That's more than a decade ago. Something must have happened that year or before that sparked in you this kind of volunteer heart that I want to serve. I want to give my months here. I want to make those decisions, those sacrifices even to volunteer. So what sparked in you to do volunteer services for many missions?
Um, I'm not sure. I think it was just the very first one that I did that, it's the feeling you get of giving back that no amount of it's hard to explain, you just have to experience it. And then, it's just I think what really got to me was when I served a family of four, and then we did treatment on the three kids and the mom, and then it really stuck out to me, and I'll never forget that the mom started crying, and then she said, "You know what? We don't have the money to really pay you, even though we know that these services are free, but just know that we will pray for you and all the things that you do." And then that's just a reminder that this is why we do these things, or this is what we do it for.
You mentioned there's a certain feeling that you can't explain. So I won't force you to explain something that words can't capture, but maybe you could just simply describe for us. I guess, again, I'm sure there are listeners here curious, maybe young people, maybe future doctors, dentists like yourself who want to do this as well, not just on the side, but maybe as a way of life as they go down the years of service. Could you describe the feeling? I know, so I guess it's going to be very hard for you, but could you describe the feeling? Because I hope that they're able to, through this broadcast, catch your heart.
Um, the feeling is you feel elated and excited in a way that you're excited to go help people. It's I don't want to say it's a vacation because it's hard work sometimes, right? Sometimes you're in the middle of nowhere. You're in like yesterday, we had a medical mission in Naga, Cebu. You're under a tarp, and then it was rain and sun, and you know you get hit with heavy rain, you get hit with sun right after. So it's but it the way that I would describe it is it's like going on vacation for me. It's like every medical mission. It's like an opportunity to help people. And just you can feel how grateful these people are. And then even though at the end of the day you're very tired, you're exhausted, and then you have another one tomorrow, but you just pray and you sleep it off, and then the next day you do it all over again and help as many people as you can.
Right, I'm gonna dig deeper into your mindset because you go in again, you don't get to pick and choose where you're being sent by the Lord and by these groups. So one day you're maybe in a hotel, the next day you're in the mountaintop, the next day you're beside the sea, under the tarpaulin with the heavy rain. What do you tell yourself to prepare yourself, embrace yourself, or to expect and respond to anything and everything? What kind of mindset do you have as a volunteer?
Um, you just number one, nothing will ever go as planned. So you have to, in a way, go with the flow, and then you can't. Just have to remember what you're there for. So you're there for the people. Sometimes you'll have, things won't go well with the team. Sometimes things won't go well with the transportation or accommodation. Or even sometimes, you want to start early, like 7 or 8 on the dot, but hiccups and things happen that you're not able to start until 10. And then at the end of the day, you just have to work through all the little hiccups and the speed bumps, and then just don't forget what you're there for. And I remind team members that too, because sometimes they don't know what to expect, especially if it's their first few ones. We have team members that volunteer from abroad, from Canada, from the States, from Australia, from Denmark, from all these other countries, and they don't know what to expect until they're here, because we've done a lot of medical missions, and for example, in Peru, in in Ghana, in Honduras, in Dominican Republic, and Philippines is just different because it's a lot hotter over here.
It's a lot hotter over here, but I guess a part of Jan really is really belongs to this country. So I guess that's why he spent so many months here. I'm gonna go to your teammates right now. You mentioned you have teammates from Canada, from the States. How do you gather them? Do you like to post a call out, or are they associated with the same groups, or you just give them a ring and then say, "Hey, I'm going to the Philippines or Dominican Republic, say for example, please join with me."
Sometimes it's exactly like that. And then, just so a good friend of mine, Dr. Kelly Brook, he's based in Calgary, Alberta. He was here with his wife, Mariah, and then they were helping out we did a 10-day medical mission together. So, they just came off a 16-hour flight, including layovers. So they were tired, but the following day I put them to work right away. And with all the other volunteers from other countries, just the power of social media, right? So sometimes I post, and sometimes you'll see that I need volunteers for these days or these months. So as soon as I post it out on my story on Instagram or on Facebook, then I'll get messages that, hey, can I volunteer? And then sometimes you get so many volunteers that you kind of have to choose, and maybe I'll put you here and then you can join the next one, and then you kind of delegate them, but then sometimes you get none. So that's why you'll just see my brother and I, or if my brothers, sometimes we get double booked. So sometimes we'll have, like, for example, this coming weekend, there's 3 medical missions in one day. So all the volunteers that I gathered, some of you are going there, I'm going here, and then my brother is going here. So sometimes my brother and I have to split up.
The life of a volunteer. I'm really loving this conversation, Doc Jan, because it really flows from your heart. I mean, aside from you being so, full of heart for doing this, you seem and sound so chill about doing these things. I know it's not easy, but I guess you're in the right place with the right heart and the right mindset. Are these other volunteers expected to be self-sustaining? Do you pay for your airfare, your food and stuff, or do you have several arrangements with your different groups?
Well, with the different groups, we have great sponsors from all over the world, and also, for example, so in short, usually when you get invited into medical and dental missions, usually the one inviting you will cover transportation fees, or sometimes they don't, and then you fly yourself. But as soon as you're there, most of the time, if it's overnight or like 5 days in a row, and you're not in Cebu or not anywhere where you have accommodation, then sometimes they'll cover your accommodation and transportation. But there's some instances, honestly, that um, when churches or communities reach out to us, just as a way of thank you, they will cover your accommodation. But then you can't ask for much either. So beggars can't be choosers too. So you're there to help people, and then some of these communities don't have much. So sometimes you're sleeping in the floor of a church, or like a nipa hut. So that's why you have to be prepared too. I always pack a sleeping bag most of the time, because you never know. Sometimes, and then at the end of the day, that's part of the experience too.
Hey, it's all part of the adventure, right? Life's one
Right.
whole big adventure. Why take it differently? So even take your job as an adventure, take your mission trip as an adventure. Hey, I appreciate that. I know that some people might be inspired by what you're sharing right now. When you gather volunteers, do you have like a manual of operations? How do you orient them and put them on the same page, and especially align them with your heart and vision and mindset for ministry and mission?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's just a reminder for me to finish. I'm working on a PDF, or like a manual of how to be a volunteer, what to expect, and how the flow of things go. Because you'll usually have new volunteers, but you'll usually have some that have volunteered before, so they know how things work. They know what to expect. But then there's really some that they really need like an overview. So I do send them a PDF, and we do communicate right beforehand. And I give them a packing list. So if they're from abroad, then I give them a packing list what to bring. And most importantly is um, like a headlight, because when you're working in remote areas, there's no clinical light like what we have in dental offices or hospitals, right? For you to work. So I give them a PDF.
It's good to be prepared. You good to be prepared for because your mantra is expect anything and everything. Might as well take every preparation and precaution you could take. You mentioned a while back that especially when times get rough and get difficult, you pray and then you sleep things over. So are there any instances top of your head that you recall where you just simply had to pray this out and you just saw something even you would say miraculous or out of your expectation happen? As a response to that.
Um, sometimes it's not really about the patients or the work, but sometimes you're battling the weather too. So sometimes there's instances where we hate seeing rain, specifically because when you see rain, it's not that we don't want to get wet, but we know that once it starts to rain and you're in a community where there are mountain provinces or people from other sides or valleys or mountain areas where they won't be able to trudge or travel down it, that so they wouldn't be able to get that service, because sometimes when you get like a lot of downpour, it gets muddy, it's hard to travel and hike. So we get sad in a way that that there's not as many patients as if it weren't raining. And then there's some instances where they can't travel at all, so we travel instead. So we put everything in a backpack, and then the team is carrying up all the equipment to those remote areas in the mountain.
Hey, that's wonderful. Mga kaagapay, for those who just are catching up with the conversation, Napakaganda ho ng puso ni Doc Jan kasi ho sa aming unang mga pag-uusap, siguro sinabi lang ho niya sa atin, ano, kung talagang volunteer ka, lingkod ka ng Panginoon, dapat maging bukas ka. Bukas ka sa kahit anong posibleng mangyari, pero ang pinakamahalagang bukas, bukas ang dapat yung puso mo. Bukas yung puso mo na maglingkod sa kahit kanino. Sabi nga ni Jan kanina, it's all about the people. And God loves people. God loves His creation. And we are simply the hands and feet of God's love. Yung sinabi rin po niya, maging bukas yung isip natin. Ano? Minsan, may hindi mo ma-expect yung mangyayari sa mission field. Kailangan mo lang talaga manalangin, idaan sa tulog, at talaga ipagkatiwala sa Lord yung sitwasyon. Tulad nung kaka-mention lang niya, pag umuulan, tapos biglang nga araw, wala ka namang control. But I guess isa pang nagugustuhan ko po sa puso at mindset ni Doc Jan po is yung talagang go with the flow. He mentioned a while back, let's just go with the flow. Let's have a go with the flow mentality. Yung tipong, hayaan mo lang, Lord, kung ano man ang gusto mo mangyari, mangyayari. Nandito lang ako para maglingkod. Nandito lang ako para sa mga tao. Nandito lang ako para ma-experience yung blessing mo today. What a way to live and what a way to serve. Sometimes even we in churches and ministries, we have our own expectations and systems and SOPs and all that. It's good to have those in place, but at the end of the day, your heart and mind must be, Lord, just have your way. Just have your way. I mean, I have my way. You'll have your way. Anyhow, God's way will prevail. So let your way be done in this mission operation. John, let's go to your particular missions in the Philippines. You've been to several countries already. Are there anything particular you encounter about patients in the Philippines that are different or the same with the patients you encounter abroad? Are there areas or particular needs the Filipino patients have that are particular to our country and our people?
Um, I think the biggest thing is just preventive measures and knowing that they need to brush more or get fillings. I'm trying my best to, not like spread awareness that not like don't get used to pulling teeth out. There's so many individuals that na magpunta sa amin na magpabunot. And then at the end of the day, masay pa to if you get a filling, right? Or magpasta. But then sometimes, they're very keen on, Doc, ipabunot ko na lang kasi, this and that. So I'm trying to spread awareness that, when we do medical and dental outreach, it's not just about bunot, right? It's about spreading awareness. It's about preventive measures. We teach you how to brush properly, how to take care of your teeth. Because at the end of the day, we would rather teach you how to brush your teeth than to extract teeth, right? Because sometimes it's not easy. It's easier for us, for you, or for to teach people how to keep their teeth than to extract everything. Because and then for the audience and the viewers too, it's the more teeth you're missing, the harder it is for you to eat, right? So sometimes your efficiency on eating and doing other, just chewing in general, your efficiency gets less when you lose teeth. And especially if you start losing teeth on a specific side. So it makes it very difficult. And then once you start to lose teeth, you also lose bone as well throughout the months and years that you have no teeth there present anymore. So there's some instances where it's even hard to make a denture for you, because I always tell patients, even the younger ones. I believe I had a 17, 18-year-old yesterday that has lots of missing teeth already and then wanted another tooth removed. And I told her, it's gonna change your face, number one, right? It's just your face is gonna look different when you have teeth missing. And then it's just not easy to have a denture, especially at a young age, because then you'll have to have it replaced every 5, 6 years or so.
You mentioned something very important. I've heard of this and seen of this in the Philippine context. When you have dental mission, the expectation is, oh, doc, the dentist is going to pull out my teeth or my tooth. But it's better to keep them than lose them, I suppose. Same with our orthopedics. We encounter orthopedic cases. If we could help you and teach you how to walk, that's better than giving you a crutch or a wheelchair. That's still more preferable as far as your way of life and as far as, what God wants to do in your life is concerned. It's better for you to keep your teeth than lose them. Better for you to walk than depend on a crutch or a wheelchair. That makes a lot of sense. But the expectation in the Philippines and I guess in other places in the world where you don't get as much access to these services is that The expectation is that, you'll do something big for them, while as awareness is the big thing that they should know first. How to brush your teeth, how to floss, how to take care of your diet, so to speak. Um, and thank you, Doc Jen, for promoting awareness as well. I think that's something really lacking: awareness, information, proper steps and care. Let me go to now persons with disability. Because we cater to persons with disability. Our family camp is actually an opportunity for families affected by disability to have some respite, and of course, avail of wonderful services like what you and your team did. Are there particular things that even family members, as far as the health and dental health of these patients are concerned, those with disabilities that get left out because they're disabled, or differently abled, even when it comes to self-care, even when it comes to something as basic as brushing your teeth and flossing and stuff like that. What's your particular experience with those with disabilities in relation to their family members and carers?
So of course, sometimes in regards to their carers and their families, even themselves, they're so focused on, taking care of their children or their child or whomever they're taking care of, that they also start to neglect their own personal or dental hygiene, right? So sometimes when I've seen, we've catered through the moms and the dads and the aunts and the grandparents, right? So they also have just the same amount of dental work that they need. So we did a lot of cleaning for those family members as well, and for the individuals that were a part of the camp, right? For them, brushing alone is already difficult as it is. So of course they had a lot of dental work, and that's why when you're working with patients without disabilities compared to patients with those disabilities or the thing is it takes longer to treat them just because you want to be more careful, and sometimes just communicating is hard as it is already, right? That sometimes they want to it's hard for them to let us know if it hurts, or let us know if this area is sensitive. So you have to be more patient and you have to work diligently, because sometimes they'll get tired and they'll get stressed and anxious, right? Because some of these individuals have never had any kind of dental treatment before. So when they are hearing these ultrasonic scalers for cleaning, even though it's just vibrating on their teeth, it could be scary too. Something getting put in your mouth in their mouth. But sometimes the buildup that you have is so heavy in a way that you do need these instruments. And I did have manual instruments with me, but sometimes the thing is it's tricky because you gotta work quick and you gotta work efficiently, but then you need the machine and that machine makes sound and it's sometimes scary. So you have to kind of find a balance, and that was why we worked until 10 p.m. every day, every day on that weekend.
I hear you. It can be very overwhelming. So many things you have to consider, especially with special care for someone like a child affected by disability. So many things happening at the same time. Before I go back to that point, you mentioned something very important. Even the carers need to care for themselves. I mean, I'm pretty sure that how you care for your teeth and your body and everything about you in general has an impact with the person you're caring for. I mean, something as basic as brushing your teeth. uh, I mean, taking care of your dental health, how will you be able to have the energy and the strength to care for your disabled loved one or differently abled loved one if you are having a hard time and you're in pain because of a toothache or whatnot? I'm going back to what Doc Jan was saying. It's a very unique insight, but very of I think neglected insight that taking your child affected by disability to a doctor, especially when there's a dental procedure needed, is something new to them, something so foreign to them. It's like taking your child for their first haircut. You have all these machines, you have to trust a barber, in this case, a doctor, Doc Jan. So I get it, Doc Jan. It's something very complicated and very difficult. He said you have to be very fast and efficient because everything is new. You also brought us something very important there in terms of awareness that people affected by disability, we have to also know that they have sensory concerns. They get overly stimulated by sounds, by lights, especially the sounds of machines. So So, Doc Jan, in the case of the camp, you encountered a whole batch of them, kids, even adults affected by disability and their carers. So how did you rise up to this challenge? The Lord gave you this challenge, and you're this volunteer. Expect anything, be prepared for everything. How did you cope with this one? And aside from stretching up to 10 p.m.
Number one, you pray, and then you pray and you hope for the best because there's some the thing is I know that there were patients and families that needed their teeth extracted too. But then, they're there for a good time. And the food and the service was great that I didn't want to take that away from them. So I didn't want half or even a third of the patients having bunot and then they can't, enjoy the time and the weekend. So that's why we provided those services. So but in regards to the cleaning and services that we provided, it's it was challenging in a way because sometimes that's why you really have to be prepared and all for the medical and dental professionals. Sometimes you have to really do your homework and you have to understand what um, what triggers anxiety and all these other things that you have to look out for, and then you have to really practice and really hone into how to communicate with them. So if you need an interpreter, then you grab one. If you need a family member that is able to explain, then you grab all these tools that you have so that you can communicate to the patient what you need and what is expected for them to provide so that we could provide treatment. So the biggest thing that helped me out was having bite blocks. So what bite blocks are? They're like rubber guards that you place in the mouth, so then they won't close and hurt themselves by accident. Because if they close and you have an instrument in there, then that could hurt them, or it could hurt you if you have your finger in there. So bite blocks were a great help. And then the how we coped with it is just to communicate the best way you can, just so that both you and your patient can be safe.
Yeah, that's communication must have been another challenge, Doc, because again, some of the patients affected by disability are not able to verbalize what they're feeling. And having been, put under the dentist's care myself, sometimes all you can do is utter or murmur a sound or make a sound and say you're in pain. But you can verbalize it after when you spit out the rinsing solution. You can tell your dentist, oh, this is where it's painful. You can interact with the dentist. But in their case, all they can do is make a sound or cry or maybe look to their mom or dad. So it's really important that we come together with the family members, especially in this area of communication. You also had some surprise and newly minted volunteers from South Africa during your stint with us. So how were they, and how did you prep that team? Because I'm not sure if all of them have the same background as you have.
No, they were great volunteers actually. That they were more than willing to work until 10 in the evening. And then the second day, we honestly we started at 8 p.m. No, 8 a.m. and finish at 10 p.m. So I've only done a handful of those, and then two of the days was with God is able with you guys. But in regards to the volunteers from South Africa, I was very grateful because I can't do it alone, right? Especially Pastor Alex and at the Abbey, they were a big part of it too. That I couldn't have done it without those guys. Also with the volunteers, and it's a nice feeling when you have a group of people that will ride with you until it's done. Because there's some people that will clock out, that they get tired of. But then, it's really heartwarming and nice when they're like, we go until the last patient and nobody gets left behind kind of mentality. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm thankful to God that He gave you the right people, even the right young people to surround you for that very challenging mission. I'm not sure if it's a good thing that the longest sessions were with us and God is able, but we'll take it as a compliment. But again, I hope that was also a blessing to you being able to serve, to minister to persons affected by disability because they get often neglected, even by public services, even by health professionals. We do understand health professionals have their reasons for making life decisions, for committing to this path, but we also thank God for people like you who chose or choosing this path, not just helping missions on the side or whenever you're free, but really committing this as built into your annual schedule, actually, as your way of life and just bringing back the smiles. And as you mentioned, the food there was good. As letting them enjoy at least their good food for the family camp. That's very valuable. We celebrate you for that one. And next time, we hope we could give you a more enclosed room where you could operate, not being so conscious about what's happening beyond that, because these two things were happening simultaneously. You were doing your mission work, your dental services. There were people in the on stage playing music, speaking with their microphones. So we're praying that if you come back with us next year, we'll be able to give you a better spot. We'll also be more prepared. Just let us know. I hope that you would like to come back next year, same time, same channel, same schedule, thereabouts. And we'd love to have you back and give you perhaps a new set of volunteers, Doc Jan, because we really appreciate what you did. First, it was also surprising for us. Oh, this is the first time the camp will be having some dental medical services, but at the end of the day, it was really a blessing to us. It was really something we appreciate. And I'm sure the families all the more felt God's embrace because, hey, not only are they giving us some time to rest here and hear God's word, they also get to feel God's love because the health professionals are here. I mean, shout out to Pastor Alex, Ma'am Abby, for connecting us. Actually, it was through Pastor Alex, mga kaagapay, that Doc Jan and his team were able to come and serve with God is able. It's because of our partner, Pastor Alex, who's partnering with us in Zambales and just like Jan all over the country, because that's kind of what kind of a pastor Pastor Alex is. I think Pastor Alex and Jan have a kindred spirit. I mean, they love traveling all around. They love to serve people, and they're game for anything. I mean, if you know Pastor Alex, he can go up a mountain, go down a cave, wherever you send him, to a city, an urban poor community, wherever you send Pastor Alex. It's really a kindred spirit. It's all about the people. Doc Jan, anything in particular aside from what you mentioned that you noticed when you were serving with the God is Able camp? Anything you noticed about the whole program, the whole experience that you'd like to share as well?
I really, really love what you guys do. You know, you I w what I expected, Pastor Alex, he kind of described it in a way, but it really blew my mind what you guys did and how, the flow of it. You guys are very organized, and then it's very family oriented, and it's really honestly one of the best retreats I've ever witnessed. Even though I wasn't really part of it, but you know what, the program and what I could see through while I was working, because I was in the same room as you guys, right? While you guys were doing the program, and I think the activities that you guys had planned, the hands-on things that you guys did, it was just such a blessing to the families that I was really happy to be a part of it. And it's and I'm happy to know that you guys do it every year. And don't worry, I'd like to be part of it every year as well.
Yeah, it's basically the same time of the year. We have it usually on May, the month of May. So your first month in your commitment in the Philippines. And also we usually have it in the same place. And thank you, Doc Jen. I'd like to just emphasize that you were part of Family Camp 2025. And moving forward, we'd love to have you as part of the whole Family Camp experience because you brought a new dimension. This dimension of having a dental medical outreach during the camp is something we've never, at least to my recollection, not have done before. So you brought in a new dimension. And again, this is just helping people. And I guess we have the same goal. We just want people to know and experience how much God loves them. Mga kaagapay, kaya naman po kami tutulong-tulong nila, Doc Jan, is para iparamdam lang po sa inyo, sa ating mga kaagapay, na mahal po tayo ng Diyos. And if it means that Doc Jan has to serve you with a team from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., if it simply means that we really make a great investment to bring you to a wonderful place in Batangas and recruit so many wonderful volunteers like Pastor Alex, those wonderful people Their faces and names are still in my mind and my heart from South Africa. All the young people from the Philippines stepping up as well. Our health professionals stepping up as well. If we have to do those things just so that we want to share the love of God with you, then so be it. And praise God because He answers prayers. And Doc Jan, you are. And whatever happened, because my attention was in the main program. So please forgive me. I wasn't able to check on you as much as I should have. But I guess part of it is trusting you and trusting Pastor Alex's good word that, Doc Jan is someone that we need to bring here. He wants to be here, and you did a great service. And looking forward to serving more with you, Doc Jan, and whoever you can bring to the Philippines, not only during family camp, because Doc Jan, for you to know, and I guess Pastor Alex has mentioned this already, we have a whole year long calendar going around the country. And again, usually it makes sense. Usually when we do assistive device distributions like wheelchair distributions, it makes sense that there is a medical outreach going on at the same time where doctors can prescribe and give medicine. You can give dental services as well. So what I'm saying is that for people like Doc Jan, there's always an open door, an open seat in the God is able table. Brother, we do appreciate. And also like what you said, you just have to pray. Through it all. Through it all, we just simply have to pray because this is all beyond us right now. As you mentioned, one day it's going to be raining hard. The next minute it's going to be shining. The sun is shining out there. It kind of reminds us that this is beyond us already. There is also someone who empowers us to do these wonderful things. Doc Jan, let me give you the remaining time of this conversation to speak to health professionals like yourself, Filipino or not, young as you or not. We certainly need more folks like you doing these kind of things, not just on the side, but again, as built in with their way of life, the way they prioritize their schedules. Why do you think that, and again, with all due respect to whatever person's motivations, why do you think that this is a challenge or this is not something that naturally happens, that there is like a whole team of people available? Though you did mention that when you put out the information, doctors sign up. Is it because they just don't know the opportunities, or maybe because they just have different priorities, or is it because the logistics are difficult? Why don't we have more of Doc Jans on the field?
I think it's a little bit of both. So the thing is, of course, other individuals have commitments in regards to their families, for example. So, of course, they have to make a living in a way too. So, there's individuals who can't do 57 medical missions in a span of 4 months. And, my brother Jay and I were doing it almost every weekend, but usually, or even throughout the week. So, in a way, there are individuals who have private practices or attached to a hospital that they can't take time off. So usually, it's very difficult to find volunteers within the week because it's a work week for them, especially on a Saturday, or if they have just instances like that where it's just logistically it's hard. From a cost of living perspective, it's also difficult if they have a family to support, or friends, because at the end of the day, you're purely volunteer. I've we do these for free. Maybe there's some instances where you do get like they call it a professional fee, but honestly, I just put that towards the next medical mission if we need supplies, or it goes towards transportation costs if I had to fly there or whatnot. But um, there's it's hard to find individuals who will volunteer because it's a big time commitment, and it's also tiring, even if you just do one. You know, most of the patients you'll have maybe minimum of 50, or you can have as much as 300. With type of wood, it was from the 2 weeks ago there in Lahog. We had about 800 patients in one day. That's a team of, let's say, oh, there was about 40 or 50 of us, including all the volunteers who are non-medical, non-dental. But it's hard. But for the young individuals, medical, dental professionals, even there's a nursing team, opto, med techs that are also with us, or even those individuals that are still in high school. I would really get them to put yourselves into positions where you can be a leader, regardless if it's in your community, in your school, in your class, in a hospital, in a dental clinic. Put yourself in a position where you can lead individuals or be part of decision making processes, because that's how you can make a difference. If you want to make a difference, you have to put yourself into a position where you can do so, right? And then you can spread awareness, that this is the things that we need to do and needs the things that we need to get done, so that you can there's a lot more of you and you can do it as a collective group. I think that's the biggest thing.
And that's a unique insight, a good reminder for all of us. Put yourself in a position to lead. Put yourself in a position to make a difference. Yeah. Put yourself in a position to make an impact. And that takes intentionality. And I guess that's one thing I'd like to emphasize from what Doc Jan has been saying. You need to be intentional because you say you have a heart for people that will require certain action. And that certain action involves a certain attitude. And that attitude is intentionality. I want to be there to make a difference. And I like what Doc Jan is saying that there's always an opportunity for you, regardless of how big or small your community is, no matter the make or profile of your community. What's important is that you're there because if you're not there, how can you make that difference that you want to make? So it's really about intentions, and I'm hoping and praying those listening to this become intentional because I guess there's always an opportunity for those listening. This is a call out, and God is able because we really are into various forms of ministry for the different and the able. There will always be an opportunity for a health professional to be in that position like Doc Jan found himself in last family camp and make that difference. And we do need health professionals. Special shout out in particular to physical therapists, occupational therapists, speech therapists, and of course, allied health professionals. We need you. We need your intentionality, but behind that, we need your heart because wherever we go, and I guess Doc Jan would have also seen this wherever he went to the Philippines, especially in the provinces, there is a great need for health professionals. They don't have access, especially families affected by disability don't have as much access. They're very much in the disadvantage in terms of accessing public health services or even professional health services. And whenever they do, and whenever they get to the town hall, the municipal health office, or the barangay health office, usually there isn't someone on board. If there is someone on board, there's a particular schedule, and the queue can be very long. So they just might as well tell themselves, might as well just go home and just take care of my child and let things be. And we can do better, as Dr. Jeff McNair would tell us. We can do better as a people. We can do better even as a church. And so all churches listening to this, if now you're hearing Doc Jan, there are people like him that you can partner with. You can partner with. And I love his attitude. Just give us a call out. We'll be there as much as possible. They're not picking and choosing. They work with everybody. They work with the various churches and denominations. They're just here to serve. What a resource, what a luxury for the church. Because usually our church partners, Doc Jan, are looking for people like you. They're looking for doctors, they're looking for dentists, they're looking for therapists, and they bring back the question to us. And we pray, we certainly pray, and we wish we had the pool of people. And this is now a shout out to all Christian doctors and health professionals out there. One of the questions in my mind has been, is there a particular organized effort among Christian health professionals? Because we tend to have the same worldview, the same heart, the same calling. So I guess we're on the same page, but are we organized and mobilized? I think there are patches of it organized according to professions. But if there's a big group, maybe tied up with an evangelical alliance, for example, a national alliance, I'm not sure. I'm sure there are networks. I'm sure there are people like you that they can tap individually through various organizations. But is there a centralized, organized mobilization of doctors? We'd like to know. We'd like to partner with such organization because we need them on the field. Doc Jan, as we wrap up, as we close, is there anything you'd like to share to young people, such as yourself? I would consider you a young person by the looks of it, to encourage them because some of them are thinking, I have my studies before me, I have my life before me, I want to make a name for myself. And then we understand that you might want to build a family, focus on your family first. But how do you start early as a student or early as a young person, having this particular mission heart and mission intentionality built into your career path? You mentioned putting yourself in a position of leadership. Aside from that, how can they start being involved already, young as they are?
As young as they are. So if we just take a step back, honestly, when I ask for volunteers, not necessarily I'm looking for a medical, dental, allied medical sciences to volunteer. Sometimes we get non-dental, non-medical volunteers that's just willing to help. And then, sometimes we even need more of those than anything else. So regardless if you have a background in the medical or dental field, we still need all the volunteers as well. For the young generation, you just got to do one. I urge you just to do one. If you see a medical dental um, banner in your community in a gym, go up to one of the volunteers and just ask them, "Hey, what can I do? I'm part of this community. I might not be part of the group, but I'm here to help." Sometimes you can help usher patients, you can help this and that. There's so many things that you can do as a non-medical, non-dental volunteer that you just need to do one, and then you get a sense of feeling of, when you get to help people specifically in your community. Um, it it changes how you see things, and especially if you travel to remote areas as well. If you get to you become more grateful for the things that you have. So for me, um, to really be happy, you have to be grateful for what you have, and not, strive for things that are, that it's just a feeling that you get. And I really urge individuals to at least do one medical or dental mission or any kind of outreach, and then just go from there.
And just to capture what Doc Jan has been saying, we sometimes want to get a life. Study because I want to have a life. I want to start a family so that I can have a life. I want to make a name for myself because I want to have a life. But if we just take a step back, realize that giving of ourselves to another person, that's truly living. It's not out there. It's not in your name or whatever the world can offer you. It's just being back to fundamentally who we are as God intended us to be, and that is to love our neighbor as ourselves. And that's how you live. And that's like a life hack. You don't have to strive to find meaning and fulfillment out there. I guess that's a quintessential question for many young people. I want to find meaning and purpose for my life. It's already built in our design if we just start to practice it. And I like what Doc Jan has been saying here. Just start with one, maybe one outreach, in our case, one family camp. And I agree with you. We've heard many stories like this. I attended family camp, things changed. Not because of the camp or the program, but because I guess you have to put yourself, as Doc Jan was saying, in positions where you will really encounter the Lord and experience His work. And of course, that happens in your relationship, your dynamics, your service with other people, especially those in need. By giving yourself to someone in need, you would have truly lived. And I guess that Doc Jan is living the life. He's living the life right now. I mean, I'm sure Doc Jan, you can't imagine any better version of how things would have turned out for you. So our prayer for you is that the Lord sustain you because you're on the right path. You're blessing so many people and you're living the life. And I hope the young people studying to be a doctor, whatever profession, you start living as well. And you don't have to go that far. You don't have to complicate things. God has put it in your heart to just honor Him and give up yourself to other people. Doc Jan, any few words you'd like to share, impart to all of our listeners before we wrap up?
So I just want to end with, I'm attending the University of Saskatchewan in Canada, and I really love their motto that what they always say, and they have it all over. Their motto is "Be what the world needs." So I really, that has a special meaning for me.
Be what the world needs. That resonates with me, Doc Jan. I love that because when I entered into becoming a pastor, I remember one good advice given to me was be where the need is.
Right.
And I became a pastor because of good advice like that. Be where the need is. And I guess where the need is not a where, but actually a who question. Who is in need? And in the Bible, it gets asked, who is my neighbor? Because your neighbor is always someone in need, and you
That's
can
right.
always give them of something of yourself. Sometimes you feel you don't have everything, I'm sure Doc Jan sometimes would find himself in a position, I don't have the equipment, I don't have the right people, everything's going to a mess. But then that's why we have faith and we pray. There must be a reason why we're there. What's important is that we are there. And I love what he said. This is what he's been saying throughout this conversation. It's about people. It's about people more than what we can give them. It's about us being with them. So, Doc Jan, thank you so much. We wish we had more time. Certainly looking forward na makasama ka namin po sa mga susunod na mga family camps. I mean, just let us know when you're in town. I'm certain there's always going to be an opportunity for you because the work is indeed there. There's always a need. There's always someone in need. And so to everybody listening to this, be that answer to that prayer of someone in need. Mga kaagapay, maraming salamat po. Natapos na naman po ang halos isang oras na napakaganda at I pray nakaka-inspire na conversation with Doc Jan. Nawa ito'y nakapaglaan po ng katatagan at pag-asa sa inyo, mga minamahal nating pamilya na affected by disability. Ko po si Pastor Paulo Sanchez, kasama ho ni Yvette at ni Edna, mga FSL interpreters natin. We believe through us and with the help of people like Doc Jan from disability, there are amazing possibilities. God bless po at maraming salamat. We love you.